So, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is set to begin filming in February 2023. With that information, you'd assume they already have a number of actors that they're considering to play the iconic characters from the games. Even so, I have my own thoughts on who should play those characters. Well, if they even appear in this film. There's recently been a leak circling the internet which, although not confirmed to be real, reminds us of the possibility that this movie might not be 100% accurate to the elements from the games. With that in mind, I'd like to indulge myself and think about a universe where this movie is a true adaptation of Five Nights at Freddy's and provide my suggestions for potential casting choices for the integral human characters of the franchise. No animatronics here. Remember that these choices are just my opinion, and also that I got most of them from looking through IMDb, so you're perfectly welcome to disagree with me on any of these. Anyway, this is my fan cast for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Now, if you had to pick a face for Five Nights at Freddy's that wasn't any of the animatronics, most people would probably go with the purple guy, William Afton. He's like the most important character to the overarching story, which is why it's important that they have to get him right for this movie. For a while, this character was only a mysterious figure seen in the form of a slender, shadowy, Atari-esque sprite, but he was later fleshed out more as a character in future game entries, most notably through the novels. In The Silver Eyes, William is described as having sallow skin, dead eyes, and a generally off-putting vibe to him. In the initial casting call for William in the games, he was described as a snake oil salesman, as in someone who's prone to lying to people for their own benefit. And his voice actor PJ Hayward took inspiration from the demeanor of Hannibal Lecter for William's voice.
All good things to those who wait. I've waited, Clarice, but how long can you and old Jackie boy wait? Our little Billy must already be searching for that next special lady.
It's also important that the actor for this role is able to pull off a British accent, as this is an aspect of the Aftons that is essential to making them recognizable.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
Putting all this into consideration, I came down to Hugh Laurie, who has a history of playing characters with an air of professionalism and formality to them, while also hiding a resentful, arrogant side.
You've been here long? When here last time we came, was he, Frisky?
No, it wasn't.
I've been here for 2.5 years, sir.
Before that?
I was in Italy, and before that, Tangier.
He's about the right build, tall and skinny, and sharing those exhausted-looking features with William. He's basically an exact match for how William is described in The Silver Eyes. He can come across as incompetent, but then he can surprise you and be genuinely threatening.
You saved my boy, and I'm grateful. If you step out of line, it will make you howl for your mother.
Now, I know Hugh Laurie doesn't have much of a history with horror movies, but you have to admit, not only does he look the part, but he has that silver tongue in his performances that are perfect for accomplishing the manipulative side to this character.
No one can know where the money comes from, except you and me, Andrew. We know.
So Hugh Laurie as William Afton. Next is William's son, Michael Afton, otherwise known as Mike Schmidt. So we don't have as much to go off of for Michael in terms of appearance as we did for William, but we do at least have his in-game sprite, which we'll use as a rough basis for what he should look like. As for his personality, Michael started off as a troublemaker child. He tormented his younger brother seemingly just for kicks, but after this led to his death, Michael became much more selfless and responsible, with a drive to make things right for those wronged both directly and indirectly as a result of his actions. We know from the security logbook that Mike is sarcastic, and he tends to use humor to cover up his insecurities. And the entirety of Sister Location shows us just how determined he can be to do the right thing, regardless of the toll it takes on him.
I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
For this role, I'd cast Charlie Heaton. He gives off that vibe of a person who just can't catch a break, someone that you just automatically root for.
Being a freak is the best, right? I'm a freak.
Is that why you don't have any friends?
I have...
He's used to playing the role of older brother, as well as that kind of antisocial, sarcastic personality that is just way too hard not to compare to Michael Afton when you see it. I mean, just look at his performance in Marrowbone.
Terrible thing, rabies. You'll get foam coming out your mouth until your insides are all rotten. I'd have to spend my last bullet on you.
Then I'll hide behind the mirror and scream and cry all night and you'll never sleep again.
Yeah, but the dead don't cry or scream. No, fine. Since the floor counts as bored? Oh, Billy.
You're such a sore
What, you said the floor counts as bored?
That just feels like Michael Afton to me. And the melancholic tone to Michael's speech in Sister Location is something I feel like Heaton can replicate perfectly, as seen by his quieter moments in Stranger Things.
And you're sure you didn't see anyone else out there?
No. And she was there 1 second and then, gone. I figure she bolted. Come on, has he ever done anything with you that you actually like? You know, like the arcade or something? No. Alright, he hasn't. He's trying to force you to like normal things. And you shouldn't like things because people tell you you're supposed to. Okay?
He can be charismatic, but also reserved, and in the role of Mike Schmidt, the Night Guard, I think he'd be the perfect vessel through which the audience can see themselves as he endures the nights at Freddy's for the first time. So Charlie Heaton as Michael Afton. This might be a very self-indulgent inclusion, as the only characters from the games that realistically need to be in this movie are Michael and William, and it's entirely possible that Henry Emily won't appear in the movie. But here are some key details in the event that an actor is needed for this role. In the novels, Henry is described as being rather off. He's a source of comfort to his daughter, but to most other people he was a very strange character, eccentric. He was always miles away, his passion for robotics overtaking pretty much every other aspect in his life. He means well, but his moral compass is rather skewed. His solution to a problem is usually the extreme. In FNaF 6, Henry gets the most characterization he's arguably ever gotten. He acts selflessly, and his grief is clear in his monologues.
As if the suffering wasn't enough, the loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done.
He's soft-spoken, but stern at times. Honestly, I struggled with this one, but after looking at other fancasts, I think Jeffrey Wright can pull off this character. His voice is almost an exact match to the one we hear in the games. Gruff, yet gentle.
Never ask a man why. It tightens a fellow up.
I apologize, but I'm going to hold you to
Torture.
if you'll agree.
Self-reflection is a vice best conducted in private or not at all. I'll answer your question out of sheer weariness. But I truly don't know what I'm about to say.
He plays a lot of introverted characters, and his performance in the Hunger Games demonstrates that eccentric genius personality that we know Henry for in the books.
Look around you. All the holograms, the lights, every now and then they flicker. Why?
Because the force field is taking up too much energy.
There's always a flaw in the system. We then run this wire from the tree to the water. Anyone in the water or on the damp sand will be electrocuted.
How do we know the wire's not going to burn up?
Because I invented it. I assure you it won't burn up.
It's clear that Wright just has the cadence for this character, as well as just having a very fatherly vibe to him. He might seem unassuming or meek at first glance, but you wouldn't put it past him to do something rash. And his voice was practically made for long-winded speeches and soliloquies, evident by his character in the French Dispatch.
No one at all. But always, somewhere along the avenue or the boulevard, there was a table set for me. A cook, a waiter, a bottle, a glass, a fire. I chose this life. It is the solitary feast that has been very much like a comrade, my great comfort and fortification.
So Jeffrey Wright as Henry Emily. And finally, the only other character from the original Five Nights at Freddy's, Phone Guy. I don't personally believe Phone Guy will make a physical appearance in the movie, as we only ever hear him in the game through pre-recorded messages, and his shift technically ended before the events of the game that we're placed in.
I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact.
But having Phone Guy make some kind of appearance in this movie would just make it complete as an adaptation of the first FNaF game. Now, if we're being honest, there's only one man fit for the job, Scott Cawthon himself. The character just wouldn't be the same without Scott's iconic voice coming from the phone. But if Blumhouse decides that they want to get a bigger name / more experienced actor for this part, there are a few things we need to consider. Phone Guy is someone who speaks like he's never been off the clock.
The classic suits are not to be touched, activated, or worn. That being said, we are free of liability. Do as you wish. As always, remember to smile. You are the face of Freddy Fazbear's.
He's never upbeat or excited, but he does get scared and nervous, and you can hear the panic in his voice when something's wrong.
Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it.
This one took me the longest to figure out, but I ultimately went with Martin Starr. He just has that professional, almost monotone way of speaking in his roles that mirrors Phone Guy's voice in his tapes.
Real thing. Look, it was never going to work out. The data just confirmed that. I'm sorry that you found out the way that you did, but it's fortunate for you that it happened now, as opposed to later, when you were more codependent, and this would have really hurt.
He can give off the sense that he only knows how to talk like he's giving a presentation to a boardroom.
You want a little bit or the full treatment?
Let's try that full treatment.
And he plays nervous and stressed so incredibly well. His performance in Operator was really what swayed me towards him.
He attacked me. No, I attacked him. I've never done that before. I've never acted like that before.
Take a couple of deep breaths.
No, I don't need deep breaths. I need you to help me understand what's going on.
So Martin Starr as the Phone Guy. And so, these are my personal fancasts for the FNaF movie. This video was heavily inspired by the style of YouTube channel Brian Seeker, who does a lot of fancast videos a lot like this one. So if you like this one, check out his channel, because his videos are way better. I was originally going to cast the crying child and Elizabeth Afton in this video, but casting child actors is a way tougher process than casting adult actors. They're hard to find, especially at the age range of those specific characters, and also they may not have been in enough projects to show that they have the capability to do a role like this, and it was very complicated, and I just decided against it in the end. Also, I didn't want to go with any big name actors or anything, because I don't really like the idea of a character from this series forever being seen as just this one celebrity or anything. Like, I disagree with the fancast that everyone in the community seems to share, which is Willem Dafoe as William Afton.
Sus.
Yes, he's a good actor, but you just wouldn't be able to see the character of Afton in that performance. You'd just see Dafoe.
Sus.
That's just the way I see it. Plus, this is Blumhouse producing the movie. They wouldn't blow through most of their budget getting an A-list actor like that. Also, I really hope the Aftons are still British in this movie. That's something I'm genuinely worried they might actually change. As long as they keep that detail in, I doubt I'll actually be upset by whoever they cast as the Aftons, or any other character. Anyway, thank you for listening to my insane ramblings. Bye bye.